Hello everyone, it's Amira. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am so happy you're here. If you're new here, my name is Amira. It's so nice to meet you. I like to make cozy gaming videos that kind of feel like you're hanging out with a friend. So the video you're watching right now is a Happy Home Paradise speed build, but I also do videos where I decorate in real time on my own island as well as some island tours. So if that all kind of sounds like something you would be interested in, I would love if you decided to hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell and all of those buttons on your screen. I would absolutely love to have you join our cozy community here on YouTube. Alrighty, if you're not new to my speed builds here, then you will not be surprised to know that it takes me forever to figure out what I want the exterior of this home to look like. I go back and forth on shapes and colors and designs and wreaths and roofs and doors. I go back and forth. You'll see the same like 7 different rotations. I could not make up my mind, but you will be happy to know that I did come up with a plan. This is like happening so often now, you guys. I'm actually coming into these builds with plans. Normally I just kind of turn the game on and it's like, you know, when you go into Target and you don't know what you want to buy, but you know that Target will tell you what you want to buy. That is how I am with Animal Crossing normally. I turn on the game and I'm like, well, I don't know what I want to build, but I'm sure the game will tell me. But recently, like the last few builds that I've done, I've had actual plans. And today I wanted to do an art studio specifically for painting. So you'll see me go back and forth with some colorful options for the exterior because I thought if this was an artist's home or an art studio, maybe they would have painted the door a funky color. Maybe they would have had a funky colored house. Maybe they would have had a fun roof. What kind of wreath would an artist have? I don't know. I'm not one. I don't paint. I don't really do anything in the arts, I guess, as far as like crafting goes. So when I was trying to decide what I wanted this home to look like, I was like, let me try to put my brain inside the mind of an artist. What would their home have? So because I could not make up my mind, I end up deciding let's just go with a very neutral base for now. And if I decide I want to change my mind later, or if I feel like it needs a pop of color, then I can do that later. And you know what? I feel like this really worked for me, and I feel like going forward, maybe this is what I'm going to do from now on. Just pick a very neutral, still pretty, but neutral base for the home, and then decorate the outside of the yard, and then go back and finish customizing the exterior of the home so that it matches what the yard looks like. I don't know, you guys. I feel like I may have just figured out a strategy for myself because I really struggle with the outside of homes. I don't know what it is. Anyways, for just like a hot second, I thought it would be really cute to have the fence in the back kind of look like there was a way to, I don't know how to say this, like a path going towards the back of the yard. I thought that would be fun to make like an illusion, and clearly that did not work because I'll tell you why. I was like, well, if this is an artist's home, I'm going to put a little picnic spot, a little blanket, and have a place for them to paint. And I have this really pretty cottage painting looking code on this specific switch that I knew I wanted to use. And then I put it out and I was like, wait, hold the phone. What if I decorated this home and this plot and this yard to look like the painting that like the code looks like? Do you understand what I'm saying here? I looked at the code that I placed to look like the painting, and I pretty much decorated the yard to look exactly, well, or as close to as that painting as I could get it. And I feel like I honestly killed this, you guys. I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. I thought it was such a good idea on my part. It really gave me a base to look from. And honestly, I might do this again too. I found 2 new strategies that really worked for me today. I found that if I just put a neutral base in the home and then come back to it later, that really works. And I also found that if I have like an actual reference picture for something that I'm low-key kind of trying to recreate, that is such good inspiration, and then I can kind of tweak it as needed. So maybe going forward, I'll just look at like pictures of real homes or other paintings. I know I watch a lot of Sims creators who will take a real floor plan and a real picture of a home and then recreate that in The Sims. And I always feel like that's so cool. And I think I might try that a little bit in Animal Crossing as well. It won't work as well in Animal Crossing, I think, because The Sims is designed to be like hyper realistic. And so recreating real floor plans works really well in The Sims. Animal Crossing isn't as realistic, so I think it would have to be just taken with like a grain of salt, but recreating this painting was so fun for me. I feel like I kind of saw that there was a little skinny sort of dirt path or something right in front of the home, so I did that with the little stone garden path, and then I just did a field of randomly placed white flowers. And at first I do the white cosmos, but then I end up switching to the white mums because the white mums, for whatever reason, always remind me of dandelion puffs, and you can't really see what types of flowers are in that painting. But in my head, it's not like a field of daisies or anything like that. It is a field of dandelion puffs. And how whimsical and pretty and magical would that be to sit there and run around and blow on the little dandelion puffs and do your little paintings, and maybe you could read a book and sip some tea or have some coffee. I don't know. It just sounded so magical to just sit and paint in a field of dandelion puffs. So anyways, that's kind of what I end up doing. And then I also go back and forth between fully grown white mums, and then I do like the white mums that are still like, I think it's like stage 2 or something, where you can see a little bit of white, but not all the way. And I feel like that really gives the illusion. And then I also go in and add some weeds sprinkled here and there. And then towards the very end of the video, I think it's like the last thing I do, I come back outside and I add bunnies. And that's obviously not in the picture. You can't recreate it fully because it kind of looks like an oil painting, but I add bunnies and I add a bike and I just kind of add some whimsical pretty details. And I just thought this was so fun. And I know I say this in every single Happy Home Paradise speed build I do, but if you don't have this DLC, I so highly recommend it. It is such a good way for me to kind of pull myself out of a rut when I'm struggling on my own island. And this specifically, I have found, is such a good exercise in just like kind of exploring creativity a little bit without it being too overwhelming, to have a reference picture like this and then kind of make it your own with the items and the decorations that we have available. I just thought was such a simple way to play this game without having it solely rely on your own creativity and having to create a whole build from your own mind. Sometimes that's just so overwhelming and your brain just doesn't have the capacity for that. And that's kind of how I was feeling today. So when I did this and I decided to recreate this painting, I just, oh my gosh, it was like a light bulb went off for me. So if you are struggling, I highly recommend it. It just, reference photos, chef's kiss, they do so much for me. And how fun that I kind of recreated this painting and then it looks like whoever is sitting there painting is painting their house. I just think that's so cute. Oh, by the way, this HHP build is for Nibbles. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet. I don't think I've ever seen her, to be honest with you, but she's so cute. She kind of looked like maybe she would be an artist. I don't know. I picked her, and now she has this really pretty overgrown yard and she's painting her home. And I just absolutely love that for her, and I hope she enjoys it too. We are pretty much coming up to the end of the exterior portion of this build. There's probably like 20 seconds left, so I will let you finish watching me play around with small details and go back and forth on the time of day and lighting 27 different times, and I will catch you when we move inside. Alrighty, and here we are moving inside, and this is where I got to play around and really create an artist studio, a painting studio that I had in my head. I had this whole vision. I just kind of struggled to bring it to life for a little bit, and in true Amir fashion, we spend such a huge amount of time picking wallpaper and flooring. I can never make up my mind on this. This is such a big theme in my videos, and if you're new here, welcome. Sit tight while I, lose my mind trying to decide what the wallpaper and flooring of this build are going to look like. In my head at first, I thought it would be super fun to use one of these like fruit wallpapers, because as an artist, I thought maybe she would have like given herself a mural on one of the walls. And unfortunately, I don't end up going with that, but I tried a bunch of different like pattern looking walls, thinking maybe she would have painted herself a mural. What I actually end up doing, which should surprise no one, is I use the cafe curtain wallpaper, because that is my all-time favorite wallpaper in this game. I love her so much. And I thought, okay, if it's an art studio, we want lots of natural light. We don't want it to feel super dark and dingy. So I wanted the windows. And then I thought about using some brick. I thought about using some wallpaper. I thought about using the common wallpaper. I don't know. I go through like every wallpaper that this game provides us, honestly. And I end up going with the white brick wallpaper, and right now I think I have the subway tile on there, but I do end up switching it to the white brick. I did go back and forth between the subway wallpaper and the white brick for a while, and I ended up choosing the brick just because it's a little bit of a warmer tone, and I liked the windows on that wallpaper better, honestly. So that's why I ended up going with that. And then I mess around with this Nordic pendant light for a while and just all sorts of different lighting. I thought maybe it would be fun to have like a fun colored light, and that doesn't end up sticking around. I think I actually only end up putting one light in this build. I just have a wall sort of hanging light on that right wall. And in my head, I kind of wanted like 2 or 3 sections of this build. I wanted the actual portion where Nibbles would be like painting her artwork. I wanted a spot for art supply storage, and then I wanted some sort of sink or even a little place to eat, anything like that. And so I used that hand washing station, and I never used that item, and I loved the way that it looks here. And later on, you'll see me go back and forth if I want the gray colorway or if I want this beige one. Until now, I can't decide if I made the right choice. I use the beige, but then when I see myself later go back and use the gray, I'm like, shoot, that kind of looks nice too. It kind of adds a little bit of dimension. I don't know. They're both really great options. Honestly, this is one of those items that I had such a hard time using. And then slowly I'm beginning to fall in love with the hand washing station. I think it's beautiful. I love all of the water items recently when you can turn them on and have the water kind of coming out of the faucet. That was again something that I never really loved before, and recently I have been obsessed with the hand washing station and the garden faucet. Is that what that item's called? I don't know. I've been obsessed with that. So anyways, back to the build. Here you're seeing me mess around with different storage options and where I want all the paintings to go. This build is a lot of me moving things around and deciding what layout I want and where I want items. I'm so picky about where I want things and like the specific grid. You know, we're unfortunately bound to the grid system in this game, and that is so frustrating. And I've already, you know, aired out my frustrations on that in many a video, but that comes back to haunt me here, because I never want things to look like they're placed in a line, whether that's like horizontally or vertically or diagonally. So I'm always kind of checking placements and making sure nothing looks too placed. Both the interior and the exterior of this build have that sort of random, messy feeling that is so hard to achieve. Outside, when I'm placing all the dandelion puffs or the white mums, I was so particular about where they went because I wanted it to feel natural and random and not like, you know, hand picked, which obviously they were because I picked every single placement, and that is so hard to do in games like this. And the same thing inside, I wanted it to kind of look not necessarily messy, but like there were art supplies out, and so there's a collection of paintings that this person has done, and then I end up putting the like vases that maybe she would have painted, and then I have shelves and different seats and stuff like that. And the whole time I wanted it to look like no one really thought about where they were setting up to paint or where they were putting the chairs and anything like that. But that's just hard to achieve. And I always admire builds and islands where I see things that look so natural and just kind of like someone threw something down randomly without thinking of it, because I know that that was a conscious decision. And anyways, that's just what I struggle with basically for this whole build. So I'm going to let you kind of watch me struggle with placements and different items and colorways and stuff like that, because I do go back and forth so many times on all of that. While I thank you for all of the love that I got on my recent build video that I posted on Wednesday on my own island, which, by the way, if you're new here, I am currently building a cottagecore island. Her name is Basil. I love her so much. She is so sweet. She is so cute. She has my whole heart. If you haven't caught up or watched any of those builds, I have a whole playlist on my channel. Those are done in real time, and I have like cozy music going on in the background. And my goal with all of those videos is kind of to feel like you're just hanging out with a friend, you know? So I love making videos that kind of feel like you can put them on in the background while you are working on your own island or while you're doing laundry. Anyways, you know, I posted this video on Wednesday, and the amount of comments that I received on that video where everyone is telling me that I'm like their favorite YouTuber. Like, I can't even say it with a straight face because I genuinely can't even believe someone would say that. I just thank you so much. I've heard so many people on that video say like, I'm their comfort creator, and I'm their favorite Animal Crossing YouTuber, or I'm their favorite cozy gamer YouTuber, or they put on my videos before they fall asleep, or it feels like that they have a friend in their room while they're watching. I just like, that makes me so happy. I can't even tell you. And it just was so unexpected, honestly. I thought that build was great, but I didn't necessarily think anything of the video that I posted. Like, it was one of my videos, but I wasn't necessarily like, wow, this is the best video that I've ever posted. And just the sheer amount of love that I've gotten over there has just really filled my heart, and I can't thank you enough for how kind you are to me and how amazing this community is. So if you are not a part of the Discord server, I'll have a link for that in the description. I highly recommend joining it, because this community is filled with the kindest, warmest, just welcoming people that I've ever come across. And I am grateful for each and every single one of you every single day. Whenever I open this app or whenever I go into the Discord server, I just have this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like all my little dreams are coming true. And I've made so many friends over here, and I cannot tell you how much you all mean to me. So thank you for welcoming me into your life. And I don't have the words to tell you how happy you make me, and I'm getting emotional. So we're going to change the subject and go back to the build, because I'm sure you've seen how much I have struggled with the layout of this build. I feel like this video could have been done 10 minutes ago. I just kept going back and forth on this same little corner with the plants and the paintings, and I struggled so much with that, and it really doesn't end up changing that much from where you see it right now, but just know you'll see it change back and forth, and I'll agonize over that for probably far, far too long. You know what I mean? It's just too long. Anyways, then I get this idea to use these vases, these vases, if you will. One of my best friends really hates when people say vase. So I'm sorry if you also hate when people say vase, and I've just said it 4 times. I thought, okay, maybe she paints pottery. I don't know if she makes pottery. I didn't give her a pottery station. So maybe I don't think she does that. I think she just paints. So maybe she buys pre-made pots and she paints them, or maybe she thrifts them and then she repaints over ugly pottery, ugly vases, ugly vases. I don't know. You never know with Nibbles. She's crazy. You never know what she's gonna do next. I give her these vases, and I have a hard time figuring out where I want to place them, and then those kind of come back and forth throughout the rest of this build too. And now you're seeing me once again struggle with flooring, because I can never make up my mind on flooring. I think I end up sticking with this specific one though. I really liked how light and sunny it felt. That's just kind of, I don't know, my favorite things in this game always feel so light and sunny. And that's what this flooring helps me achieve, is this sunny, light, airy, warm feeling. That with that specific rug, they go hand in hand for me. I love them so much. And then the cafe curtain wallpaper, I love all of these items so much. I feel like this art studio comes out really, really cute. It just takes me a hot second to figure it out. This left wall was going to give me a brain aneurysm. I swear to God, I struggled so hard trying to figure out what I was going to place there. And at first, I think maybe I'll put these blue chairs. I do keep the blue chairs. They just move around the whole room for a while before they find their homes. I just thought the pop of blue was really nice. I do end up putting the iron shelf on that left wall, but oh my goodness gracious, we take so many different twists and turns before we actually end up where we end up. Some random detail that I end up absolutely being obsessed with, which happens a little bit later on. In the bottom left corner of this build, I end up putting the blue ranch chair, and then I use the stack of Zen cushions and I customize them to be a yellow gingham. And those two paired next to each other made my whole day. I thought that color combination was so pretty. Blue and yellow recently for me have been, I just love those colors together. Specifically the gingham too. I can't get over it. It's so cute. And then I put the yellow floral swag on top of it. And I'm in love with the way that whole thing turns out. That little corner for me has my whole heart. I don't know why. I think it's so cute. And I hope that you like it when you see it. You'll know it when you see it, because it's the cutest thing that you've probably ever laid eyes on. I don't know. Anyways, we have just 2 minutes left in this whole build, so I will start to say my goodbyes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. It really would mean the world to me. I post new videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Wednesdays are build videos on my own island. Like I said, we are building a garden core island over there. I would highly, highly, highly recommend checking those out. I have been having so much fun building up that island with you. Fridays are Happy Home Paradise speed builds like the one that you just watched, and Sundays are island tours. I would like to quickly thank all of the members on this channel. Thank you so much for your continued support of me and this channel. I will never be able to thank you enough. You mean the absolute world to me. I love you so, 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 so much. So much love for each and every single one of you. Other than that, you guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope you are all having the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I will leave you here at the end with some screenshots of the finished build, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Goodbye.